Do not worry to be judged. Do not worry about what others may think of you all. This is about building better bonds. Do not be shy to comment. I want you all to comment. This particular video requires you all to comment on this episode. The reason why is because these are very, very important questions that need to be answered in order for us to know about each other. And remember that I'm always making sure that all of the messages are very well, and I want to know about you all, and you all know about me. And my answers to these questions will be at the end of the episode after asking you all. This is about the importance of a life story. Did you know that your life story can make impacts for others? And also that we can make an impact on each other when it comes to our life story in particular. Let me get to know you. You've gotten to know me. It's time that I get to know you all. Do not worry, I will not judge you wrongly. I believe that our life matters and we can make incredible differences. So put those resistant thoughts away from your mind and put that action towards commenting. Number 1, the first question. You can pause the episode in order to answer in the comments and then go back over the question, or you can pause and then continue when you're ready. The first question. What kind of setting was you raised in? Was you raised in the country style, the city? Did you have a small house or a big mansion? What kind of setting was you raised in? Can you answer in the comments? Pause the episode if you need to. Number 2. Did you have both parents during your entire childhood? How would you describe, we'll put this as question 2.5. How would you describe your parents in 3 words? Question number 3. That was question 2.5. Question number 3. What was the first memory or words that you think of when you hear parent lessons or lectures? You can pause the episode if you need. Question number 4. Did you make good grades in school? You can say if you ever made an F or a D or a C or a B or B minus, B plus, and if that was something strict for you. And here is question 4.5. Was grades in school strict for you? Question number 5. Very good. What classes did you struggle the most with in school? Whether if that was science, mathematical equations, even art classes or any kind of classes. What was your favorite grade in school? Question 5.7. What classes do you feel like you did not have enough of? And this episode requires you all to comment. Why was that class something that you felt like you did not have enough of? Question number 6. What age did you learn to live on your own? Question number 7. What was your main struggle of adulthood? Dun, 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 dun. You can pause the episode to answer the question in the comments, or you can give me a personal message with the answers, just so we can learn about each other more and so you can learn how to get out of that turtle shell, right? So many resistant thoughts. Let's just take those resistant thoughts away for a moment and express yourself. Question number 8. What was or is your favorite thing about adulthood? Number 9. Is there anything that you miss about childhood? If so, what memories was brought to mind? Number 10. If you met your childhood self, what would you say to yourself to prevent, prepare, or better influence your future? You can pause the episode and put your answer in the comments. Building better bonds, the 3 Bs, the BBB, building better bonds. Building healthy relationships and communications. Question number 1. And this was all put together by my intelligence, and also if you want to put an appreciation in the comments, would appreciate that as well. Building healthy relationships and communications. Number 1. How do you think that building healthy relationships can better your present moment and the future? Question number 2. Do you think that if you bettered the building of the bonding with your siblings and friends, that that would have bettered your childhood? If so, then why? Question number 3. What are the main topics that is common in your conversations other than religion? Question number 4. Do you think that writing a list of healthy topics can help to better your bonds and relationships with your friends and family? If so, then why? Question number 6. Is the least graded class that you disliked in school, your least or favorite topic. You can pause the episode and put your comment below. Question number 7. Do you think that if you built better bonds, that you would help to influence others? And another thing, going to add 6.5, question 6.5. And the question is, could your least graded school in class be a challenge for you to improve? If so, then why? You can put in the comments below. Going to go over question number 7 again. Excellent processing. Do you think that if you built better bonds, that it would help to influence others? This episode requires you all to comment, so if you are not commenting, you're sort of ruining the episode. You can say in your head, but it's not as meaningful if you're not going to express yourself. Take those resistant thoughts and say, no, not on this episode. Do not let those resistant thoughts ruin this episode. Okay, this requires you all to answer in the comments. Now, I will answer these questions after go over this. Question number 8 was, do you ever feel like building better bonds can form attachments? And if so, then why? Do you ever have difficulties with attachment? If so, then why? Do you want others to be attached to you? Can building better bonds with friends and family help you to have happiness? Pause the episode at any point when you need. You can go back over this episode. I would really enjoy to see you all's answers on what you all have in your personal development that is not like anybody else, okay? Your answer, you're practically, by not putting your action forward, you're practically like, oh, my answer does not matter to them. Yes, your answer does matter, and I would appreciate if you would put your answer in the comments, because every creature is a different development. No creature is exact. Even if there are some similar comments, there's not going to be exact comments. That is why I enjoy to read comments, because you all are individually different, and I want to help you to get out of that turtle shell. It's time that you embrace yourself. Those resistant thoughts do not pertain to this particular episode, okay? So go back over the questions, please, and make sure to answer. Now, if you want to know my answers, if you did not answer in the comments, then do not watch the rest of this episode. I'm telling you, I'm going to answer. But if you did not answer, then why would I? So go back over the questions, answer, and then you can listen to my answers. Now, the life story questions and answers. Number 1, what kind of setting was I raised in? Well, the typical average childhood is from 0 to 18 years old. So I was everywhere. I was not particularly raised in one place because I went through severe traumatization as a child, as you all know. So I did not have parents, and I was from place to place. I went across the country. I seen different cultures, different religions, systems. I seen all kinds of different faces from different places. And I learned to be very open-minded about settings. But I like the child. I like the, sorry, I like the setting of the country, which is not what I got enough of as a child. So I'm going to put question 1.5 here. This is all developed. So give a like if you enjoy these empowering questions here. Question 1.5. What is your favorite setting? Now, and does your childhood have anything to do with why that is your favorite? The answer is yes. My favorite setting does have something to do with why the countryside is my favorite. Number 1, I never want to get a trailer, because trailers were the setting of my traumatization. When I was being molested at 3 years old to 6 years old, they lived in a trailer. So I despise trailers. I actually do not ever want to live in a trailer. I would rather have like a storage building or something. So, but I think that settings of things do sometimes pull memories. Sometimes, depending. And it's sad that criminals could have, anything. And it really is sick. But, we pray for everyone to be, to have awareness that spreads awareness. But the reason why I like the countryside is because it's away from everything. And because I was bullied and just outcasted, not cared about, I've been abused verbally, physically. So another reason why the countryside is my favorite is just because it's away from everything, and I can just enjoy like God's nature and the angels and the heavens and the incredible processings and just the amazement of nature. And so, question number 2. Did you have both parents during your entire childhood? No. Um, I had to learn what parents were supposed to be. And as a child, when my brothers split and they went to a children's home and I went to different places, and when I was on the missing flyers, I sat near this valet thing. And I remember sitting on the bench and watching the rich kids, the rich kids getting out of their cars, and they just had whatever they wanted. They got literally, they got whatever they wanted. Like, I just watched them get out of their big, huge vehicles, and I just sat there as a child, and I had nothing. I was a homeless child, and I just looked at them like, why was I not born like that? And I just did not understand why they got everything they wanted. And I did not understand why I did not get what I wanted when they got what they wanted. So it was really confusing to me about parents and what parents were supposed to do, and then the way that I was done. It was a little bit confusing to me at first, but I know what a parent is now, what a parent is supposed to be, but as a child I really struggled to understand what a parent was supposed to be. But I could have imagined. I remember, now I only seen my Aunt Dinah and my Uncle David like a very few times in my life, but I remember I actually had a memory come up when writing this, and I remember they told me bedtime stories, and I think they were the like perfect good example of what a parent was supposed to be. And I remember them like telling me the bedtime stories, and I just could imagine what my childhood would have been like if I would have had that, my entire life. I definitely would not have went through so many troubles emotionally and even wanting to be in the world, because I struggled with wanting to be in the world at 12 years old, and I just did not want to be in the world because of severities of things. And let's see. How would I describe my parents in 3 words? Question 2.5. Let's see. Criminals, druggies, um, let's see. I don't know how to explain them. But I don't think I should consider them as parents. But this is about the life story, so this is questions and answers. But I know I look at my spirituals as my parental. We are parents to each other. We're family to each other. So that's what I now see as an adult, as my parental figures. But as a child, I struggled to understand what parental figures was and how I could find that within myself. So now to question 3. What was the first memory or words that you think of when you think of parent lessons? Actually, I think of 2 things. My Aunt Dinah, Uncle David, and Mr. Wilson. Now, who was Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson was a very incredible man of God. He was very amazing. And also, when Mrs. Jean would clean her house so clean, she was always like, go clean and clean and clean. She was like, I do not wash the dishes in the dishwasher. I wash the dishes in the sink and then put that in the dishwasher, because dishwashers are not for cleaning, not for washing, only for sanitizing. So I looked up to her in those ways. And she could not get custody of us because Mr. Prater was always on the cargo trains, and that's why we did not get to stay with her. But I think of the things that I learned throughout. Mr. Wilson was, he was a farmer. He loved to farm. And I actually, till this day, sometimes I think of how he had this huge orchard of trees, and he had a horse and cows, a field of cows. He had, the tomatoes growing, the grapes growing. Um, and he had even a bridge named after him, the Hoover Wilson Bridge in Irwin, Tennessee. And that's he's an amazing person. I think he lived a long time. He was the country living, very strong. His brothers were all in the military, went to war, so I think they went to war. Well, um, but it would have been way back then when they went. But I think they all passed away. So as far as what is the first things that I think of? Well, I think of a lot of things. Michelle, she was a nurse, a cleaner, and I learned from her. I learned from Mount Dinah. I heard the way that she would do therapy things. Amy, my friend Amy, I learned from her and her behavior. The way that she spoke was like a therapist. The way that my Aunt Dinah spoke was like a therapist. The way that people would speak, I wanted, like, I could change my voice to anything. I had alternate personalities. Well, that actually kicked in later on, and I learned to alternate my personalities when I went through severe traumatization. So I would change. One time I had a Jamaican accent, and I used to speak to people like a Jamaican. And I used to speak to people in different accents, different ways. Um, I have spiritual sides of me. Hmm. Not like in Australia, oh, crikey, it's a wild one. More like it just depends. I do have different accents, but I do not utilize those accents. But when I was little, I would speak in different voices, and I would have different accents. And um, I Well, I think of parent lessons and I actually think of the spirit. I learned a lot of things from spiritual fields. Uh, they was what kept me alive, when I was very, very near death many times. I would say that, and I continue to look at spiritual things, like we said, we're parents to each other. Um, But here's a question. Why did I split my personalities when I was little? Because that's what kept me alive. Um, and if it was not for that, I would be dead. So, alternate personalities is when you can alternate. I have different sides of me and actually had written a list of all the different sides of me. And I actually have a very big list. Dominique is one of those sides. I have Dominique, and then my meta side, excellent processings, very good. But I have all kinds of different sides of me. I have meta sides of me. Metas are like sort of robotic, like not female or male. Those are my meta sides. And those sides of me did not come in until later on. And then I have my female and male sides of me, dominant, masculine, then feminine sides. I really do not have like feminine sides. Not like, Chrissy, oh my goodness, I love to do my nails. Well, I do not have a side of me like that entirely yet. I think that may come in I do not know if that ever would come in, but childhood traumatization, if you've ever heard of people that have went through traumatization, altering personalities is a rare thing of how people cope with the trauma, but also how to find that inner parent. But here is something, if you was unaware, Romans 12 and 4 through 5 states, one person is one of many members, and those members are not of the same office. So even a book from thousands, well, I mean, it was not too long ago, actually, 100 CE is when the Catholic Church in Rome closed that, but you get the point. I mean, I believe that I only believe in one God. I do not believe to combine God with three different creatures like the Bible does. I believe one God exists, and that is the God of space-time. And then the rest are angels. But there's many reasons for that, why. But I think that combining God with the Spirit is a polytheistic thing. But they try to say it's monotheistic, but it's not. But no, we're not going to get into that. So, did childhood form my religion? Yes, because I seen things that were beyond any religion, really. I experienced things, but I also had sympathy in my heart for things, and I do not believe in sacrifices or any of that. Uh, there's actually almost all of the main religions have sacrifices involved somehow. So I think it's not good to do that. But as far as uh, because the God of space and God, the creator of the heavens, okay, does not require any sacrifices. I don't know why people would ever think that God needs anything from you. God just needs you to make good memories, build healthy bonds, healthy habits. That's all that God needs from you. God does not need any sacrificial stuff. I do not believe that God ever would need any of that. So, but they believe in combining the Spirit with God the Creator, and the Spirit is not the Creator. So um, that's why. But we'll go into the lessons. So I think that God, the Creator, is also my parental figure as well. I think that, and to the question 3, what was the first memories and everything that you think of when you think of parental lessons? So I think of all into which I learned from, and I learned from all kinds of different things. Um, and I did learn from observation as mostly as a child because I was very closed out. I was like, you know how you're not commenting, you're sort of like a turtle in the turtle shell. It's like, let's get out of that shell. Or more like, a crab in the ocean. How, because turtles cannot get out of their shell. Their shell is actually a part of their skeletal system. So we can utilize a different creature as an example. More like uh, a crawfish, or what crawfish do not have the big shell. That's crabs, isn't it? No, crabs are the ones. Well, there's different species. Excellent. We have lots of creatures in the ocean. So, you're in your shell, and you got to learn to get out of that shell. So I was in the shell when I was little, and I had to learn to open up, express myself. And it feels amazing, and I want you all to practice. And a part of practicing is putting your answer to the questions in the comments. And if you want to go back over the episode, you can do that at this current moment to answer the questions. Now, question 4. Did I make good grades in school? The answer is no. That's not his truth. I struggled in school with everything. Mm-hmm. I struggled to feel like I belonged. I struggled to feel medically sustained and mentally as well. I was the kind of child that just needed to be homeschooled from the start, because there's some children that really struggle spiritually and with everything of being thrown from one place to the other, going back and forth to like school to home, school to home. I just needed to stay in one place and have that consistency. School was not consistent. There was too many people, and it was hard for me to keep up with everything. And so that's a big part of why I did not have very, very good grades in school. Um, it was just not consistent enough. I go back over the memories and it's like, oh, who's this? Who's this? I do not know. I don't know who any of them are. Um, Maybe like one or two people, but it's sad, not having that consistency can sometimes make children have difficulties keeping up with everything. And so that is how I could have bettered the grades in school. And we'll put this question 4.4. What could have bettered your grades? I think that what could have bettered my grades is having one-on-one time, which is an excellent processing. We have Elio, the recording as well. So when it comes to what could have bettered my grades in school was having that one-on-one time to understand what everything meant. I grew up around the time when the population was low, but it was increasing very fast. And um, and that was hard for everyone, I think, because the school systems, nothing seemed prepared for the number that we have in today's time. Um, mhm. But as far as like what could have bettered my grades as well is having more hands-on activities. And as far as the um, puzzles, and you all know that you can actually get your free anatomy puzzles on the Sing Along Song album, and this teaches the anatomy. And that was something I worked very, very, very hard for, to create all of these incredible puzzles for you all to learn in a hands-on way, and that is biology. So that could have definitely bettered uh, my grades in school, is making education fun. I feel like, expecting a child that has experienced traumatization and going through spiritual changes to sit there for 8 hours and fill in some paper is a pretty difficult thing. The mind seems to wander off, or there's discomforts of not knowing the people there. Um, it definitely does put a lot of discomforts in the image. So we'll go to question 4.5. Excellent processing. Was grades in school strict for you? No, there was not any strictness. Unfortunately, would strictness have bettered your grades? It depends on the way that is put forth. If you're gonna strictness is not whooping or anything like that. I mean, whooping after the lecture maybe. But first is the lecture. Then if the lecture is not working, then the whooping afterwards, and then um, privileges. Having privileges, having a um, chores that pays. I think that's very smart. That's a good parental strategy, I think. Let's see, the next question. Question 5. What classes did you struggle the most in school with? The answer is, but I mean, strictness could definitely help, but sometimes you just need those lectures or to like find a strategy to make the lesson more fun as well. Then if all of that does not work, then yes. Or like check the dieting. Sometimes it could be what is consumed, making it difficult to operate. Then that's different. But always trying to find what else that it could be of why those grades are failing. So question number 5, excellent processing. What classes did you struggle the most with in school? Oh my goodness. I liked science a lot, but I did not like how we had to just read out of a book instead of doing a lot of science experiments. There was a few science experiments that was done, but it was not enough to help me understand. I struggled with every class, every grade, every class in school, math, science, social studies, gym, everything. Because when I was little, I had difficulties in development, and I did not have the diet that I needed. There's a lot of reasons why there was so much discomfort and there were so many difficulties. I did not have the lessons that I needed all at once, like what I give you all, the lessons and the sing-along songs and everything else. Like that's something that could really change a child's life. So question 5.5. What was your favorite grade in school? Well, I like science. I think science was my favorite because uh, is counseling is a grade in school. Well, um, I mean, I think if you want to count that as a class, you definitely could learn from that, yes. Um, but I loved how science could become physical, and they did not make mathematics physical. They did not make history physical. Um, like they should do reenactments or something that makes it more real and makes it more alive like. Excellent. So think that science. Anything with physical activity, I enjoy. But I do like communications. I like now. If I looked at counseling and things like that as a school, then yes, I think that definitely would count because our communications build networks. Those networks build everything about like our day. You know that that is a very empowering, loving, parenting enjoying thing when that is utilized correctly. Like if you have conversations and you're not utilizing your conversations to build the networks, then you're not building those better bonds, you know. And then that could turn into problems and negative energies. So I think that counseling is actually something you can majorly learn about how to build those better bonds. Question 5.7. So science and communications, grammar classes. Yes, yes. Grammar, counseling, those were my favorite. I did learn to put those punctuations and capital letters and commas. But I actually struggled with verbally speaking. I struggled with reading when I was little. Now I can, with different sides of me and my angels, I can read super fast. Like when talking like super fast, like when reading a book with small letters, could go through the entire page of everything in just a few moments. And as a child, I was not able to do that. Actually, as a child, I just recalled a memory of trying to read something when we was little. I struggled with dizziness. I was dizzy. hmm And that's exactly why I needed that one-on-one at-home care. hmm So now we'll go to 5.7. What classes do you feel like you did not have enough of, and why? There was not enough communication classes. There was not enough engineering classes. I think that engineering is majorly important, and I would love to learn engineering even till this day. But having physical activity as well. So now we'll go, and that was question 5.7, but why? Why have engineering classes? Because engineering is something that can help you to learn about inventions and the importance of having those inventions. And even help children become inventors in the future. And so that's what I think that they should have more in survival class as well, teaching children when they become adults not to be worried to do things on their own and what they can do with nature. That is definitely something very important. So survival class and engineering and more communication classes. Those are the three things I think that should have, and biology, more science that is hands-on, puzzles. And speaking of you all, you can get your free anatomy puzzles on the sing-along songs. Just search YouTube Professor Cygnus Biology, and here's the horse one. And that comes with the sing-along songs. And if you want your products, then go ahead and go on to the biology song album. And by the way, that did not exist before me, so make sure to give that like, share, and subscribe so that can help get to others in need all over the entire planet. And so you can get your products for absolutely for free, the screen photo. And so I think that definitely made history on that platform because that just did not exist without me, and that's very special. But I think we should go into engineering to teach others about engineering. That would be very fun, and perhaps in the future that will be done. Survival classes have already been done, but those are the three things that I would have wanted more of. Number 6. What age did you learn to live on your own? Um, well, I mean, I was in the missing players at 15, but um, when I was going through the children's home and academies, I was dependent upon the children's home and academies, but I did not really live on my own until 15 years old. And then when I turned 15, that is when I was on my own. What was your main struggle of adulthood? Number 7. Main struggle was being accepted, um, feeling like I belonged. Physically. Now, spiritually is different. Physically, it definitely was very difficult to ever feel like I was accepted and belonging. Number 9. Is there anything you miss about childhood? If so, what memories was brought to mind? The answer is no, but there was memories when writing this, and it was my brothers, my 2 biological brothers, and then I thought of everyone, like my aunt Dinah, and my biological great aunt Michelle, thought of cousins, thought of um, Mrs. Jean, thought of everybody and thought, was there anything that I missed? But not really the missing part, but just more of, is there anything that I would have wanted to better, Yes, absolutely. Oh my heavens. Building better bonds, like building healthier relationships. That definitely is very important. I would have wanted to strengthen the relationship with my Aunt Dinah. I would have wanted to strengthen the relationship with my two brothers. I would have wanted to strengthen the relationship with Mrs. Jean. I would have wanted to strengthen the relationship between people so that we could have a happier life. I would have had a definite happier childhood if I would have known the importance of building better bonds. But because I did not know about the importance of building better bonds, it was just more of everywhere. Everything was everywhere. It was like this rafting river of chaos, and I just had to go with the flow. But it's not that I understood. I did not understand, and it was very confusing to me. So I think that if there's anything that I miss, it would have been building better bonds. Like, I cannot build that bond with my brothers like I could have as a child. I could not have built that better bond with my Aunt Dinah that I could have as a child. I mean, as an adult, I think that we can. But the bonding, the relationship, like if I would have built a better bond with my biological Aunt Dinah, or if I would have built a better bond with my biological great aunt, could I have just moved in with them and just lived with them? Mhm. Instead of going from the children's home and academies, could I have built a better bond and then became a part of a different family? Um, could I have been even adopted or something? I think that building better bonds was not something that I learned enough of, and especially my two brothers. Why does my brothers not speak to me like that? Like I send them messages like almost every day, and they do not barely reply back. And I'm like, why do they not reply back? Because when we were children, we got split apart. And because of that, we did not build the better bonds. Okay? And but I know now that when I lived with my biological great aunt, I was not focused on building the better bonds. I was just more like, okay, what can I do? I can clean the house here, then clean, rearrange everything else. But I was not focused on building the better bond. I was just more like doing my own thing. And, um, but she ended up abandoning me on the influence of marijuana. But I think that even she needed to learn about the importance of building better bonds. I think we all need to learn the importance of building better bonds on why that can better our relationships. And so, is there anything I missed about childhood was the question. And if so, what memories was brought to mind? Well, just more of my brothers. I would have wanted to strengthen the bonding between us, and all of the good people that I know. I would have wanted to strengthen the bond between us, because that could have made my childhood so much better and so much happier. So um, I would have, if I built better bonds, I would have never felt like I did not want to be in the world as many times as I did. So we'll talk about building better bonds, the 3 B's, the BBB, building better bonds. So when you think about it, just say 3 B's, and then what pops up? Building better bonds. So building healthy relationships and communications is key to the importance of bettering your life and other people's lives. Question number one, how do you think that building healthy relationships can better your present moment and the future? So how do I think that building healthy relationships can better your present moment and the future? So relationships can be siblings, family, friends. I think that united, we are stronger. We help each other understand that we matter to life, and just that alone can keep us alive through the most difficult situations. And so I think that it is it's key importance to have healthy relationships and better bonding. Now, I think that spiritually we have an incredible bond, my spirituals. And we understand the importance of building the better bonds because that helps us to be happier. That helps us to fulfill. That's a part of fulfilling the key importance to life. And so I think that there is incredible importance of building healthy relationships that can better the present moment and the future. So question number 2 of the 3 Bs, the BBB, the building the better bonds. Do you think that if you bettered the building of the bonding with your siblings and friends, that you would have a better childhood? If so, then mine had already answered that question, is because life would have been completely different if the 3 Bs of the building better bonds was in the image when I was a child. But I did not know that that should have been my focus. I just did not know what to focus on as a child. Just very open-minded. This rafting river of chaos. I did not know what purpose was. I did not understand why I was here in the world. It was a very lost, confused feeling as a child. Now it is different. We understand a part of our purpose is the 3 Bs, the building the better bonds, and staying consistent. So question number 3 of the 3 Bs. What are the main topics that is common in your conversations other than religion? So we know religion is a big, big topic. The main topics other than religion is like goals of what needs to be done, that is a very, very important topic. What are your goals? How we can better our goals, how we can better each other. And that is majorly healthy. It's incredibly healthy. And we do like recommend to others to have goals and improvements in their daily topics. Like that should be one of the main topics to have with each other, is knowing how we can improve each other more, how we can build those goals with each other more. And so question number 4. Do you think that writing a list of healthy topics can help you build the better bonds? Oh my goodness, we skipped a question on the life story question. So first, answer this. Do you think that writing a list of healthy topics can help build the better bonds? Absolutely. Some people struggle with understanding what they should talk about, but they want to talk, so they just they're sort of going with the rafting river, You never want to go with the rafting river because you don't know what that could pull out, You want to sort of part your waters and in a calm waters. Like, how when there's a huge rafting river, always rafting, you can dig your own little pathway in your own little pond that's calm and enjoyable. And so that's the kind of thing you got to do in life, because that rafting river could have anything, and that's like the rafting river of thoughts, or the rafting river of networks, the rafting river of life constantly being chaotic, and as a limited being, you look at this and you're like, whoa, that's way too much for me to, just peacefully understand things. So that's why you got to part your waters. You can look upon the rafting river, at a distance and say, okay, now I can morally understand this, but writing a list of healthy topics can help you sort of look at that chaotic rafting river. And if there's something there in that chaos that you say, hey, that has potential, then go ahead and have that as a list of a topic or something. But having a list of topics is something that can help you to have order and structure in building the better bonds. Very good. Question 5 was, if so, then why? We'll go back over this as well, which was life story question number 10. We uh, cannot skip this one. This is very important. Excellent processing. Question number 10. If you met your childhood self, what would you say to yourself to prevent, prepare, or better influence your future? So if I met my childhood self, heavens, goodness, I definitely would have to have that big lecture, but I also would need to have consistency. I would address my own physical issues. So then I would let that little brain know your issues are known medically, because people would ignore my medical problems, the constant dizziness I would have, and I was not focused on in the ways that I needed. So number 1 is addressing physical medical things, dizziness, and addressing that, and then, telling myself how to calm down and get out of that dizziness. The importance of the 3 B's, building the better bonds, and as a woman, okay, you can get a tent out there and live, but always have consistency. Never just go out anywhere. Never just walk from town to town. You know, you can get a tent, stay consistent in one place. As a child, I would look at the females and I would say, okay, as being a woman, wearing makeup and having hair and wearing high heels and wearing dresses that show cleavage, um, it was confusing to me of what a real woman was. And so I would just tell myself how to be a real woman and say, look, you can shave off your hair and be a woman. You cannot wear makeup and be a woman. You can wear appropriate clothing and be a woman, because it does not have anything to do with the way that you dress or the way that you look. Now, a real woman does dress formally, okay, and it's just something that's majorly misguided. But a real woman is going to be a soldier. Okay, you want to be a soldier. I tell myself, go to the Marines, go to the Marines. And I would say your main focus is being a Marine and going through boot camp and going to the base. And so that's what I would have told myself as a child, because I was illegible as a child. I'm not legible now. I'm already above the age of 21, and that's like they want people as soon as they're 18. That's when I tried to go in, before I was hit by a car. And then the indention and break in my skull disqualified me, even with the medical waiver. I do have brain injury pain at times, and uh, I just do not think that. And I have the gastrointestinal conditions as well, so I could not just eat the MRE meals. But as a child, I could have. As a child, I could have handled all of that stuff. I mean, I got hit by a car. It would have prevented me from getting hit by a car. For goodness sake, I could have. Oh my heavens. Great for the Marines. I would have focused myself. Say, you are going to be Marines. You're going to be in the Marines. You need to focus on that. And would have directed myself to a purpose. And when you go to the Marines, graduate college in engineering. That's what I would have told myself to better influence my future. It definitely would have went a lot different. But for some children, it's okay, quote, quote, it's, quote, quote, okay to just let them do whatever. But for some children, like how I seriously struggled, you never know what could happen to a child. Just one incident and it could disqualify them from all kinds of opportunities. And getting hit by a car disqualified me from all those opportunities, but you could not have determined those things when I was little. But it's the fact that if a creature would have helped me to be directed to a purpose in life, it would have definitely changed everything. So that's what I would have told my childhood self, and like medium brain focus, build your body strong. Okay, now we'll go to the BBB, the Building Better Bonds. That was question number 10 in the life story question and answers. So now we'll go to the questions and answers of the BBB, Building Better Bonds. Number 6. Is the least graded class you disliked in school, your least or best topic? Actually, I think that mathematical equations is something that can challenge me because I do not understand a lot about mathematics, but I do enjoy calculating. And like the calculations of angles, measurements, mathematical equations, it could be a very good challenge. So question 6.5. Could your least graded class in school be a challenging thing for you to improve? Absolutely. Because mathematics is something that can improve your daily life because we calculate what we do all of the time. So just like, think of the angle of measurement of the way that we move our hand, or, like real calculations. Question 7. Do you think that if you built better bonds, that you would help to influence others? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Building, when you have a healthy, just as now, healthy communications, the BBB, building better bonds, can definitely have a major impact on other creatures that you may see or not see, creatures through the layers of life, creatures that are around that you may not know is around, or anybody, anybody who would notice the 3Bs of the building better bonds would, have that observation to say, wow, building better bonds is key to happiness in a way. So we'll go to number 8. Do you ever feel like building better bonds forms attachments? If so, then why? Absolutely. Absolutely. And attachments, why does building better bonds forms attachments? Because we know that not a thing is exact in life. So when you truly become a master of understanding that not a thing is exact, then you understand why you want to get attached. Because not a thing will ever be exact to that. So you want to cling on to that, So question 8.4. Do you want others to be attached to you? Well, in a way, I think that it's okay to have attachment. I'm okay with people being attached to me. What do you want? Well, yes, I want to feel special too. Question 8.5. Do you have difficulties with attachment? If so, then why? Yes. I get scared to be attached sometimes. Because the reason why I get scared sometimes is because I'm worried that creature would leave. sometimes I feel like I'm not attached enough. And I know that's two contradicting, attaching things as statements, but um, sometimes I feel like I'm not attached enough. Sometimes I feel like I'm scared to be attached. So it's like in between two different feelings. So, question number 9. Can building better bonds with friends and family and help you to have happiness? Absolutely. Because building better bonds is a part of what makes happiness the key source of true love. Mm-hmm. You cannot have true love without the 3 B's of the building better bonds. So, of course, building better bonds, 3 B's, anytime we say 3 B's, building better bonds, we'll know what we're talking about. So, but one thing is, how can you overcome just wanting to, yes, and happiness is key to love, and you cannot have love or happiness without 3 B's of building better bonds. Okay, but wanting to make a question 8.7 here, question before, what can help you overcome those difficulties with attachment? Well, overcoming fear, like being scared to be attached is because you're scared to get hurt. You're scared to like not have the consistency that you need. But really, having assurance can help to overcome that feeling. Like just clarifying, that clarification. Like in an example, if I was watching these episodes, I'd say, hey, this is a clarification that these episodes are permanent. So I can go back over these episodes at any given point in my life, and I could just go back over that and say, hey, that person, I know that person. I know so much about that person, and I'm attached to that person. And at any given point in your life, you can go back over the episodes. Um, so I think that brings clarity to the consistency. But as far as not just episodes, a lot of people do not want to do episodes. So if you're just talking about healthy relationships in general, by the way, I was threatened on my email not too long ago, so I understand why. And I also had another notification of a company illegally trying to claim my video from 2022, and heavens goodness, I mean, there's just a lot going on with that, and so I understand why a lot of people do not want to make episodes. Definitely is dangerous sometimes, and it definitely is, something that's, especially when they do illegal crypto technology. YouTube had illegally taken view count off of a lot of the videos of the YouTube channel, which is illegal, by the way, and but I understand. I do not recommend being like putting videos and media a lot, but you could save to your Gmail. Here's something that how you can save videos to your private account is putting the videos onto your Gmail, your Google Photos, and just backing up all of the photos on the Gmail. That definitely is something that can help. But do I have difficulties with attachment? How can I overcome those difficulties? So one clarification of consistency, like, are you going to stay in my life? Yes. Can I trust you? I want to clarify that I can trust you. I want to clarify that you are worthy. I want to clarify that that you are you, like an example, there's fake profiles. I'll give an example. Have you ever seen those posts of people posting these generated images of these people from the military, and they say, today's my birthday, say something in the comments, whatever. So I looked at those episodes, ended up going on profiles. They had the same hashtags there, and it was like, why in the world these different profile photos and the media saying it's these people's birthday when that's a generated image, and then looks at the profile, and they do that for every post, and they have people really thinking that it's those people's birthday. And that's one thing that would definitely bump off trust. So I had to like report things, and so when it comes to um, clarifying like truth, like I want to know that you're real, like you're individually who you are. You do not have to be a human. You do not have to, but just making sure you're not deceiving. Um, I I want the 100% you, not the deception. So, how do I overcome attachment? It's really knowing that I can trust you 100%, having clarification of consistency, knowing your life story, and having the 3 Bs, the building the better bonds. Yes. So, and you all, the new added questions that are on here, you can answer in the comments, by the way, physically or spiritually. So question number 9. Can building better bonds with friends and family help you to have happiness? Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot have happiness without the 3 Bs. And had answered that previously, but anytime from now on forward, anytime we say 3 Bs, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the building better bonds, okay? So this was a very, very important lesson of building better bonds and the importance of having that in your life. You want to build those better bonds, okay? So praying for you all. Take care of yourself. And this was the lesson session of the life story session and the 3 Bs of building better bonds. You all please put your individual developed comments into the comments below. I want to hear you all's answer. I want to see you all's answer. I want to know about your uniqueness. And you're saying, oh, I do not matter. I do not want to comment. Yes, you do matter. You do need to comment. Take those resistant thoughts out of here. At least for this episode. You all take care of yourself. If I answered the questions, you can in your own individual way. Okay? Stay healthy, invest wisely. See you all later on. And Happy New Year's, by the way. And the 3 Bs can be your New Year's goal. See you all soon. Happy New Year's. And happy holidays as well. And today is December 30th, a Monday, 3:49 p.m. That's 15:49 hours in a day. See you all soon. Bye for now. Well, as things cannot be guaranteed, we'll just say bye for now. But we do want to guarantee things.